Hello everyone. In today's video, I will be talking about the discordant energy of intolerance and what can you do energetically to be more tolerant. To start, we should say that the discordant energy of intolerance comes from an imbalance in the element of air. The element of air has to do with perception, thoughts, beliefs, ideas, everything that is in the mental body. The way to heal it energetically would be directly resetting the mental body while we restructure the soul. I have explained this process in my book, The Power of the Elevation of Consciousness, Soul Restructuring, and you can find there practical exercises that you can do yourself to reset the soul. Also, not only energetic healing ends in healing the soul. So we need to understand that when we record any sort of imbalance, even if it's an emotion, a thought, even ideas that we could record from other people, false beliefs, all those are forms of blockages. And they not only are stored in the soul, but then the fact that they are taking space in the soul and they're forming a blockage, it is also represented in the physical body in the form of a crystallization. So a crystallized thought ends up being a blockage also in some part of the body. So let's say, for example, when you were growing up, there was the certain ideas your parents had about eating every Sunday together because that was something important for the family, whatever idea they had about that, and that was forced into you. You wanted to go play outside, but you were forced to stay at home on Sundays because everybody had to eat together and be together on Sunday. It was family day. So you recorded that as a negative emotion, as a negative circumstance, and it was crystallized from the soul to the body in the form of an imbalance in the element of air. This blocked many of your other air element functions and qualities, such as things that have to do with hearing things, because the ear is related to the element of air. So let's say you can't hear very well, or you perhaps don't like music too loud, or you don't like loud places or things like that. That's an imbalance related to imbalance in the element of air. And also has to do with cognition. So you may have some difficulty learning, difficulty reading or studying because of that imbalance of the element of air. So it is important that we release the imbalance, not only in the soul, but also release that imbalance that was already crystallized in the physical body in that form of too much air or too little air. So what we do to start, and my recommendation would be to go with what is familiar, right? Once we have already reset the soul, and that will be the first part to go about, restructure the soul, restructure the elements of the soul. I would say all the layers if you can, but basically it will be the mental layer where we're working with, but still, because the emotional layer has to do more with the water element. But if you're working on restructuring, of course you want to reset all the layers and be completely neutral. And once you do that, then we go with what is familiar. If the element of air resonates better with the sense of hearing, then we work reprogramming that imbalance through affirmations, repetitions, auto-suggestion, things that have to do with things that you hear. So you repeat certain things that make you feel more tolerant, or you can simply say affirmations every day about I am more tolerant, or whatever situation is going on is not a big deal. You can say whatever words make you feel more tolerant about certain situation and make that your mantra for the following weeks. Also, we need to understand that there are other factors that could be influencing that imbalance in the element of air. For example, you could be an air sign like Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini. And these signs have more susceptibility to imbalances of the elements of air because there are already an air element. So anything that comes through the ear, like you're told ideas, you're told beliefs, or you hear things out there, that could influence your personality, your behavior. So you need to be very careful on what situations you put yourself into, especially music or sounds or things like that. You're very susceptible to things that have to do with that matter. So I would be very careful of going to places where loud music is played, or listening to music that is aggressive or makes you feel at some point uncomfortable or intolerant, because that could be something that will add to your imbalance. So practice during the week that you're healing the imbalance, not listening to any music that could be aggressive in any kind. If you could be listening to music that is soothing and calming, I would go for that. So it's not just not doing, but doing the opposite. So removing the negative situation, but not just staying open to neutrality, but also adding something that replaces that in order to change the pattern. So if you listen to hip hop every morning driving to work, that week that we're working on this, try to not listen to that and go listen to Richard Clayderman, some piano music, something calming and that makes you feel more calm, more tolerant. So when you get to work or wherever you're going, see how your day goes in comparison to the days that you were listening to a different kind of music when you were driving to work. Also, if you are a person who is on the phone a lot, you have to make sure that you give yourself enough breaks to recover, because this could be also affecting how tolerant you are. Make sure that everything that has to do with that comes through the ear, you give enough breaks for you to reset and go back. So don't book like meetings back to back over the phone, because by the fourth meeting you're going to be really over the edge, and then that could affect your effectivity for that meeting or whatever you're doing. Well, very good. So these are some of the main things that you could do in order to promote energetically more tolerance. This is a great quality to have. So you need to always look for things that are connected to the elements and bring those elements back to you. If you feel like you have a lack of an element, like in this case the air element is lacking, then you add those elements to your environment, to yourself. But make sure that you heal the soul too, if you really want to reset that and remove it. So by only changing the circumstances around you doesn't really heal you. It just makes you be more tolerant when you are in the circumstance. But if you heal the soul, then and on top of that, you add the environment to that, then we're completely reprogramming the situation. So we'll be talking about more of these discordant energies in the next videos, and how we can energetically reprogram them to bring those qualities into you and releasing the negative polarity of those imbalances. Thank you very much. You can always watch more videos like this at healersofthelight.com/videos. Thank you. See you there.